The film begins with a storybook-like description of the life of 19th-century British veterinary Dr. John Dolittle, Robert Downey, Jr., as narrated by Polly the Parrot, voice of Emma Thompson. He can talk with animals and would travel the world with his adoring wife Lily, Cassius Smutniak, in search of other fearful or injured animals to bring to their sanctuary. Lily went sailing with Polly one day, but she was caught in a horrible storm and drowned. When Polly returned Dolittle's ring, he got so sad that he shut down the sanctuary, excluding himself from contact with other people. Years later, Tommy Stubbins, Harry Collett, goes on a hunting trip with his uncle and cousin. He is too nervous to kill a bird and instead shoots a squirrel named Kevin, voice of Craig Robinson. Stubbins' uncle offers him a knife to end the squirrel's suffering, but Stubbins instead takes it with him. Polly notices the boy and instructs him to follow her to Dolittle's shelter. Stubbins is surprised by Yoshi the polar bear, voiced by John Cena, which leads him into a trap. Lady Rose, Carmel Laniato, finds him after Queen Victoria, Jessie Buckley, sends her on an urgent mission. Dolittle is playing chess with many mice against Chi-Chi, voice of Rami Malek, a timid gorilla, who is joined by Dab Dab, Octavia Spencer, a scatterbrained duck, and Jip, voice of Tom Holland, a bespectacled dog, within the sanctuary. Dolittle dispatches Chi-Chi to answer the door after discovering that there are other humans outside. He and Stubbins frighten each other. Stubbins approaches Dolittle for assistance, while Lady Rose informs Dolittle that Queen Victoria has summoned him to Buckingham Palace. Dolittle assists Kevin in his recovery but has no desire to leave his house. After considerable prodding from Polly, Dolittle relents, tidies up, and departs. Plimpton, voice of Kumail Nanjiani, a neurotic ostrich, transports Dolittle to Buckingham Palace, where he is joined by Polly, Yoshi, Kevin, Jip, and Dab Dab. When he arrives, he discovers his former medical school rival, Dr. Blair Mudfly, Michael Sheen, who has been summoned by Lord Badgley, Jim Broadbent, to check on the Queen. Dolittle and his animals enter the Queen's room, where he converses with her pet squid and discovers that she has been poisoned with lethal nightshade. The Eden fruit, which can only be found on a distant island, is the sole remedy. Dolittle sets off to find the tree and bring back the fruit in order to save the Queen before an eclipse, at which time she will perish. After being astonished by the creatures, Stubbins wants to join Dolittle and become his apprentice, but Dolittle simply sends him back home. Betsy the Giraffe, voiced by Selena Gomez, and Tutu the Fox, voiced by Marion Cotillard, join Polly in assisting Stubbins in escaping his house and joining Dolittle on his journey the next morning. However, by the time they arrive at the docks, the ship has already left. They see a bridge and Betsy rides with Stubbins until they arrive and have him jump safely onto the ship. Stubbins takes the time to study the language of the other animals on their voyage, which impresses Dolittle. Mudfly and his ilk soon sail nearby on their own ship and begin to close the gap. Dolittle and Yoshi venture underwater in search of a whale to assist them in getting closer to the island. Stubbins tries to draw Dolittle's rope back with Yoshi's help, but Chi-Chi freezes up when he has a chance to help pull. Dolittle is able to reboard the ship, but Chi-Chi is embarrassed of himself for failing to assist. Because their chart does not show the exact location of the Eden Tree, the crew is forced to stop at an island of outlaws ruled by King Rasuli, Antonio Banderas, Lily's father. He holds Lily's journal, which contains the location of the tree. Knowing that Rasuli will be furious if he sees them, he and Stubbins try to conceal themselves. They are guided to Rasuli's room by a dragonfly named James, voice of Jason Mantzoukas, where Stubbins tries to sneak in and find the journal while avoiding waking up Rasuli or his pet lionesses. The youngster approaches, but Rasuli notices him and apprehends him along with Dolittle. Rasuli confines Dolittle in a den, where he must contend with a gold-fanged tiger named Barry, voice of Ralph Fiennes, who has significant mommy issues and has a beef with Dolittle for not assisting him in dealing with them, while Stubbins is kidnapped by the other bandits. Despite Dolittle's efforts, Barry is dead determined on devouring him. After Stubbins sends a message, the other animals arrive to assist, with Yoshi blowing up the robber's hideaway and Chi-Chi breaking into the cage and mustering the courage to battle Barry. They assist Dolittle in escaping because Stubbins has obtained the notebook, but they are stopped by Mudfly and his soldiers, where the villain admits to poisoning the Queen so that he can go discover the cure and reap all the benefits. They steal the diary and wreck Dolittle's ship. As everything begins to fall apart, Yoshi and Plimpton bond over their inattentive fathers. Rasuli overhears Dolittle voice his dissatisfaction with himself. He dislikes Dolittle for stealing Lily away from him, but he knows she would have wanted him to continue his journey. He offers him an ancient ship so he can return to the sea. Dolittle enlists the assistance of whales to locate Mudfly's ship. When the group arrives at the island, Mudfly's men are already inside. They travel up another route to avoid the criminals and eventually find the tree and the fruit, but Mudfly and his soldiers arrive as well. They are soon challenged by a gigantic dragon, Francis de la Tour, who attacks the soldiers. Dolittle saves Mudfly from death, which causes him to have an epiphany about being a better person, only to put another soldier into the path of the dragon before collapsing through a hole. After scaring away the other troops, the dragon turns her attention to Dolittle and his companions, but he then notices another dragon skeleton, which makes him realize she has lost her beloved, and he sympathizes with her. He also notices that she is internally backed up, so he administers an enema to allow her to remove all of the armor and weaponry that she has ingested over the years. She thanks Dolittle and hands up the fruit to him. Dolittle and the animals make it just in time as the Queen is about to die. Lord Badgley, on the other hand, attempts to send the guards after them. The animals successfully repel them and deliver the fruit to Stubbins, who uses it to heal the Queen. Dolittle subsequently discovers, thanks to a stick bug he left behind, that Badgley is the brains behind the Queen's poisoning, since he carries the bottle of nightshade in his pocket. Badgley tries to flee but is swiftly apprehended and imprisoned. The Queen expresses gratitude to Dolittle and Stubbins for saving her. Dolittle returns to his sanctuary, where he has officially accepted Stubbins as an apprentice and has decided to reopen the sanctuary to the public, as Lily had requested. Mudfly is still in the cave throughout the end credits. He tries to talk with bats, but they swarm around him menacingly.